Hello. It is past midnight for our 22nd day of the daily embodiment challenge while I'm recording this. And this is hopefully going to be up by 9 a.m. tomorrow. So I have a lot of editing and things to get through tonight. I already recorded this once and it didn't get saved. So here we are doing it a second time. We have been in a little mini series within our longer embodiment challenge for the month of December, and we are in a visioning component. We started with the essential components of visioning and discussed about visioning needing to include the three following things to be effective form of visioning, which is to provide clarity about what you want to create, clarify what you don't want to create, and create a basic roadmap to work from. Those are the three things: what you want, what you don't want, and a roadmap. Okay, so the first video we did after that one where we talked about it, we explored our talents and abilities, getting clear about your talents and skill sets. And then the next day, which was yesterday's practice, we did visioning step 2, exploring your subconscious, all about mining your daydreaming for clues. Today is step 3, and this is long-term goals in specific areas of your life, utilizing a prompt: where I'd like to be in fill in the blank. When it comes to life visioning and setting attainable goals, it can be helpful to work within specific categories. Otherwise, the process can be vague and overwhelming. So, in order to provide context, here's a list of life categories I've adapted from Sonia Cicchetti's book, Your Heart's Desire. There's health and body, work, relationships, creative expression, finances, service, spirituality, home, travel, adventure, and possessions. So in the exercise, where I'd like to be in ... fill in the blank. For each of the life categories that we just listed, write out a list of specific goals you would like to achieve in the next 5 years. Project yourself out 5 years from now. Where would you like to be? What does your life look like? Write whatever comes to you. It may be helpful to phrase each one in the form of I am now, fill in the blank, or I have, fill in the blank. For example, for work, you can say, I am now working 4 days a week out of my home and making $4,500 a month. That sounds juicy. I'll take that one. Then the next one for travel and adventure example is, I have traveled extensively throughout Europe. This list provides you with potential long-term goals. However, there may be a few others that didn't quite fit into any of these categories. Take a moment and write out any other long-term goals you may have. When you're done, look through what you've written, spend a little time refining your wording so that it clearly describes each intention. Think of this list as a living document. It will grow and evolve over time. It is not stagnant. Continually revisit this list and refine it. So even though I just did this, I'm going to do it again, and perhaps I'll find some new insights in it. The first recording I did tonight was pretty all over the place anyways. So in some ways it might be for the best that we're just trying to get through it really succinctly on this second recording. Here we go. Okay, I am now my health and body in 5 years' time, entering the 5 years from now into my health and body experience. I am now feeling at home, at peace in my body and my heart. I feel a clarity of mind. I feel connection to my sense of self and orientation of identity in relationship to the world. So my mental health feels very capable of understanding where I begin and end, where others begin and end. And I feel like I'm capable of moving about the world while staying inside of myself. I feel strong and sturdy in my bones. I feel like I have the capacity to move and stretch. And I don't know if I would lift weights, but I feel like if I did, I could call upon some of my understanding of anatomy in order to support that. But it would have to be slow and more like physical therapy than like working out. Because of the systemic hypermobility I have, it's not safe for me to just try to get strong or try to stay in shape. I have to be really targeted and specific in how I utilize my body so that I don't hurt myself. And I know that, and I'm okay with that. Like I've come to peace with that in my health and my body, that my health and my body, I have very specific limitations. That feels really key to know that, to honor that, to love that about myself, and to not keep trying to fix myself. I'm not trying to fix myself anymore to try to get to something else. I'm just meeting myself where I'm at without feeling bad about that, but meeting myself where I'm at and feeling like where I'm at is pretty good, and where I'm at can still, I can still experience health and well-being from here. Pretty good. I like that one. Okay. Then we have work 5 years from now. And bringing in my experience of work for 5 years from now. I feel so capable. I feel like if there's a task, I can get the task done. If I have to show up somewhere, I can show up somewhere, but I'm not like tossing my soul in front of me to get there before I actually arrive. Like there's not a state of rushing or feeling late or behind or not enough or uncertain. It's just like, I'm here. We move with what we have. We let go of what we don't have and let that be okay. And there's a capacity to have moving parts, but also feel very sturdy in myself and really clear. And I don't feel like I have too much. Like I feel like even if there's a lot to get done, I'm aware that I have limits and I can renegotiate expectations. Relationships. Okay, bringing in my relationships from 5 years from now. Oh, I am now just, I feel like a hug. I feel really surrounded by love and acceptance. I'm aware that my eyes closed. Like, I think that my body now is in the process of integrating maybe the self-worth or the believability that I can really feel as connected as I will in 5 years from now. And I do have some relationships that feel really good in so many ways. And there's a degree of even more that I don't even know yet. Like my body in this time-space reality that I'm in this moment, it hasn't caught up quite yet to that 5 years from now. So I want to see if I can maybe catch it up. What happens if I catch it up? I feel like I have a tall spine, the ability to stretch myself, lift up, create space. Yeah. I feel like I can just see somebody and not feel like I have to move towards or away from them. They're just kind of right there. And whether or not we have something we're doing together almost doesn't matter because I feel so secure in the other work that I'm doing that I don't need to find purpose in each relationship I have. Each relationship can just hold what's true for that relationship in that moment. Creative expression. I am now my creative expression in 5 years' time. I feel like I have the ability to like raise up my own energies so that they feel more strong like right size. Where my eyes are closed. I'm gonna put my hand on my heart. And just sort of drink in possibility. Like I feel very at peace with it. It's okay to be big. It's safe to be visible. And it can feel really good to receive. And to stretch capacity in that regard. Like the stretching doesn't feel crippling. It feels safe, intentional, consensual, practiced. I feel practiced. Okay. Finances. I am now my experience of finances in 5 years' time. Feels good. I feel like I can just like receive them. Like there are finances to receive. How freaking beautiful is that? And just like spend time with the feeling of like being financially sound, safe, secure, stable, supported. More, my eyes are closed again. But I'm gonna flow with a thing that's coming through. It's almost like the eyes are closed, but like I can feel it better with the eyes closed. Like the looking at it, like the tracking of it, it almost is like that puts me in a place that I wouldn't have access to this. It's not that numbers shouldn't be tracked. It's not that maybe I don't sometimes, but that's not how or why I have this support or this resourcing. It's tuning into something else, this energetic kind of more waveform. That felt nice. Okay. Service. I am now my service in 5 years' time, my sense of service, my practice of service, my experience of service, my active service. Ooh, my active service. I am now my active service in 5 years' time. I feel really strong here. Like my core feels really strong. And it feels like something about the core being so strong, it like supports my spine. It allows me to have like presence and like pelvic security in that sort of like lower chakra regions. That whole bottom quadrant allows me to feel like secure in the 3D realm, in the like physical plane. And there's a capacity to engage. I don't know what I'm doing for service. Maybe it's this, but felt good. Okay. Spirituality. And now my spirituality in 5 years' time. Like, where am I going? And now my spirituality in 5 years' time. There's not really any difference between like life, spirit, pragmatism, and magic. It's just the same thing, which I felt in many ways for a long time, but didn't feel like my community or my outer experiences of how I connect with the world were a match card for my understanding, deep knowing, relational needs in the understanding of that and the resonant match of that. And now it just feels like, oh, I'm a fish in water with other fish. Like we can swim here. We can swim here. I'm not looking for others to understand what I get. what I have gotten, what I have understood, what others I've met others who have too. But so often we're afraid of ourselves, or we're afraid to share that component with people. Now it feels like there's not that fear. Home. I am now my home in 5 years' time. Well, I feel like I could come freely in and out. I'm able to just kind of like connect with the different pieces of it. And I have a happy, enlivened experience where the rest, it's not that there's not deep rest, it's just that I don't need as much subterranean time. And how I've loved how this apartment has held me in that subterranean time, and how much I've needed it really to house a lot of deep grief. But it feels like in 5 years, a lot of that will have been processed and integrated and digested. And so there's a willingness, a wantingness, and readiness to just sort of inhabit without trying to make it through. Okay. Travel, adventure. I am now my sense of travel and adventure in 5 years' time. Oh, I feel like I'm back in Bali, exploring there and having a great time, letting intuition lead and guide me. I'm visiting friends that live in Europe. I'm going to Mexico for the first time. I'd love to go to South America. I am in South America. I am connecting and attuning to so much different kinds of landscapes and cities and people and places. And it feels really good to feel resourced enough to do that kind of travel, that it's not a financial strain. There's a heldness, a consistency of support to do that. Possessions. I am now my possessions in 5 years' time. It just feels like I have everything I need. If I need it, I feel like I'm capable of receiving it and purchasing it or acquiring it or trading for it or connecting with it. And if I don't need it, then I can release it and gift it away or toss it away or recycle it away or whatever is right. But it just feels really natural. That was it. And it says take a moment. When you're done, look through what you've written, spend a little time refining your wording. Know it'll grow and evolve over time. It's not stagnant. There may be a few things that you may have missed. So I'm going to ask that. Is there anything that I have missed? It says, yeah, you want to perform again, but on your terms. This feels scary to me. But like an edge of fear that I want to travel into. Someplace where there's compatibility, where there's synchronicity and alignment on purpose of project, voice of the work, relational care with the creative process, and partners involved. Feels like I can really I feel old stories start to come up and want to thrash. And I feel like there's an integration process that's available to me as I allow this possibility to open to open. And it's less about what it looks like externally, even though I do see things very specifically that I don't feel like is right to share. But internally, it feels like an unblocking of this piece that I have a lot of tension between my heart and my throat, where I get really like invisible hand choking me a lot happens throughout the years. We'll see how that goes. I love you. Thank you for being here with me today. If you want the printout for today's practice, or if you just want to support me and this channel and this work and my lots of hours I'm putting into it, I would love your patronage over at Self Care for Performers. There are printable downloads for each day's practice over there. And then once a month, I will be hosting a little community Zoom connection where we will have some self-care and community connection, maybe a little practice and meditation as well. Yeah, I think we're moving in a way that feels like an edge, but in a good way. And this edge is where so much growth often happens, when we can meet ourselves in our edges and meet ourselves there in compassion and kindness, and meet one another there in compassion and kindness and consideration and tenderness and willingness and all of that. Which is what this work is at the heart of it. Learning how to meet myself and you, and inviting you to do the same in just whatever's present, while also attuning to desire and goals and intention and a life we want to live, and working towards the sort of creative soul match cards in our lives that might be present. So I wish that for you, and I am drinking that in for me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.